Good morning. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Yusin, and here are my members, ZHING, ARRTI, and Vincent. Today, our group gonna discuss few laws related to the freedom of speech and propose some changes. As we are part of committee, the first law I want to discuss is defamation law. Next. In the case of journalist Tashi Sukamaran says she will be charged with criminal defamation act. At the end, she did not get charged because of lack of evidence. She complained of sexual harassment by a doctor when she was visiting the clinics. The sadness was when she comes forward to expose a harasser, however, she becomes defamatory. It is not fair to a media person. The government did not take any proper actions to protect the women. Police choose to close the case. The law don't see the freedom of expression, especially if they need help. The law should be justified the freedom of expressions. In my opinion, if the judges want to sentence the damage, it should set a legislation's amount cap that can be awarded. It will also be beneficial if provisions were made for news report according to public interest. The media persons or media organization follows professional standards in reasonable publications. He should not be held any responsible. So the next law I want to discuss is Communications and Multimedia Act, also known as MCMC. Al Jazeera journalists take part in a documentary about Malaysia's treatment of undocumented workers during the pandemic. The police found the documentary to be sensitive and started to do the investigations. The police investigating the documentary about potential seditious, defamations, and violations of the country. MCMC has claimed that the documentary was misleading and consists of racism and discrimination content. According to the sections 211, should be revised more strictly and accurately what qualifies for the prohibited content of the act. Besides, the law should be more open-minded and provide more space for people to discuss. Content producer is producing content. The Malaysia people love to watch or are interested in. Al Jazeera urged the Malaysian authorities to respect media freedom and stop treating its journalists as criminals. A distinction should be made between private communications and publicly available content. The responsibility of network intermediaries stipulated in this law should be clarified. Instead, they should be granted to not carry any law or related to the freedom of speech or press. Now I will pass to my members, my teammates, Vincent.
Okay, so the next law would be the Sedition Act, which was established in 1948 by the British colonial government to be used against the insurgent of the local communists. So the law actually has been improved throughout the years by the Malaysian government, but still there were many criticism came from the Malaysian people because they felt that the law has been banning any kind of act, speech, or publication in the public. So the best example of this are actually the Lawrence Jairaj case in 2018 and Eric Paulson case in 2015, which were charged under Section 4.1. So Jairat's case basically was a criticism towards the federal court's decision on Anwar Ibrahim's case in 2015, while Paulson case was actually a criticism towards the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia about extremism in 2015. So both cases are deemed to be too hazy by the Malaysian people and also against freedom of speech because this criticism from Jairaj and Paulson were actually a constructive criticism towards these two departments, but then they were still charged under the Section 4.1. So I think that some changes should be taken under the Sedition Act, especially in this case under Section 4.1. which is, first of all, the act should clarify about the borderline between a constructive and offensive criticism, so that there won't be any Jairats or Paulson case anymore in the future. And also, secondly, the act should give the defendant a chance to clarify or to explain his or her act or words in the public. So I will pass to Yizing.
The next law that we think should be amended is the Printing Presses and Publication Act 1984, also known as PPPA. Number one reason is that PPPA is a law where it allows the government, specifically the Ministry of Home Affairs, to control our print media in Malaysia, with regulations and guidelines such as subjecting every person or organization to have with public publication printing machine to have a license that is only valid for 12 months from the ministry, and also threatens to take away their license if they did something wrong. The problem here is that any person who prints, produces, or even causes a printing press publication without a license granted by the minister is considered a criminal. And we think that it's wrong to have publications considered as obscene or against our public decency purely based on the judgment by the ministers. One example is that back in 2015, the Age Financial Daily was suspended for 3 months by the minister for covering a news of the 1MDB financial scandal case. The Ministry of Home Affairs called it provoking negative impression to 1MDB and also national leadership. But it was then later decided by the Federal Court of Malaysia that the Age was simply just reporting the news of the case, not purposely sparking any controversy to anyone. We think that this case should prove to the Malaysian government that the purpose of print media and journalism is to inform the public with what should be known and necessary news and updates to be aware with. One more example is that the Centre of Independent Journalism also had a failed attempt to set up a self-regulating media council because the government wouldn't want to abolish the law. Also because it is pointless to have a media council if the government still holds the power to control our print media. So we suggest the government to amend the law or repeal it to bring freedom of speech to the world of media, to ensure the public are able to be informed with the most honest and truthful news and updates. Now I'll pass it to ARRTI.
So now I'll be talking about the Official Secret Act. In short, it's called OSA. So OSA is an act that safeguards national secrets and official information related to the nation's safety. So under the OSA Act, under Section 8, one can be caught without a warrant or put into jail as a punishment if found guilty to break OSA. Thus, this could affect the journalism industry in expressing their opinion or publish anything online, since anything can be classified as top secret. So the issue is, this act is misused by politicians and ministers, since anything can be classified as top secret, from plays to documents, pictures, audios. So one of the cases is Rafizi Ramli, who is an opposition legislator, was guilty of leaking the 1MDB fund source. 1MDB fund source or any information regarding the 1MDB is a top secret document and is protected by the law of OSA. So the proposed change was limitation of what can be classified as top secret. Second, government should be transparent about the pieces of information for a time period. Reason, journalism can be performed freely without being charged under the Act. So next slide. And that is all from us. Thank you.